As we wrap up Women's Month, we cast a spotlight on a powerful stage production. It aims to put an end to gender-based violence by helping people understand what toxic masculinity and the objectification of women means and how they affect women every day. Joining me is playwright and activist Sandile Mdlongwa. Sandile, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, you've put together this theatrical production entitled Poison, already having premiered at the Soweto theatre. Just behind the name Poison itself, you know that it's toxic, you know it's something that is not good for you. How did you come about with the name Poison for the production?
Well, first and foremost, we are acting in line with the National Strategic Plan, particularly pillar number 6 of research and information management. So I had to do a lot of extensive research in order to understand the causality of GBV and the stereotypes that are within gender politics. So we discovered that gender as a concept is a concept that is being misunderstood. It is a resultant of social construction, the perceptions that are based on people's understanding of how a man should behave or how a woman should behave, and how we are taught and groomed into manhood or womanhood. This is where toxicity lies. For instance, boys are being taught not to cry. Girls, on the other hand, are taught to cry. We live in a society that encourages men to be priests, but women not to be priests. We live in a society that encourages men to be providers and women to be receivers. So we live in a society that constantly pushes women towards that realm of docility.
Yeah, and how do you find that balance? Because there's quite a lot of complex issues you're dealing with here. Not only the generational gap or how we are socialized, we're not all homogenous group. Even, let's say, as black people, for example, our upbringing will still differ. And that's why maybe the conflict comes in, where a girl child, or if you're raising boy and girl children equally, so the boy will do the chores, the girl will do whatever is deemed to be a man's job. So when you find a person like that interacting with somebody who comes maybe from a more traditional setup, how does the play then reflect those dynamics in society, that we're not the same and that there isn't a one-stroke brush kind of approach to dealing with gender-based violence?
The main objective of Poison is to detox and deconstruct, to deal away with the social constructs, on the premises that culture and tradition is dynamic. It changes, it adapts to times. For instance, many years ago, we used to pay lobola with 11 cows. Live cows. Now we pay lobola with money. It does not begin to say that the concept of lobola is dead. The concept of lobola is there. It is just that it has adapted and it has traveled with times. So we need to deal away with those norms that says women belongs to the kitchen. Nowadays, women also belong to the studio. Women can study and become doctors. Women can study and become lawyers. I can also go to the kitchen and wash dishes because I've got hands.
Yeah, gender norms, you were saying that we raise boys not to cry, to be tough, to be providers. There are certain fundamentals that we cannot deviate from. So let's not even try and reinvent what is the fundamentals that bring us about. The man is the head of the family, albeit that the woman may earn more than him. He is the one who should take the leadership role. He is the one that gives direction, where this family is going, how many children are we're going to have, how all of it works. So do you think that we've lost somehow in society the role of the man of being the alpha male and not making excuses because of circumstance?
Well, according to the World Health Organization, a paper that was produced last year, the psychologist writer of that article argues that gender is hierarchical and it produces inequalities in society. Gender is the main factor which spirals patriarchy in society. I will make a practical example. The fact that the concept of masculinity pushes men to be alpha males, pushes men to be excessively self-reliant. He has created problems in our society, because psychologists argue that men tend to keep to themselves and they do not express their emotions. And this is one of the leading factors of suicide. That is why men actually commit suicide more than women. For instance, there was a paper which was released by a World Health Organization last year. In 2019, 13,741 people in South Africa committed suicide. And out of that figure, 10,864 of those people who committed suicide were men. And only 2,774 of those people who committed suicide were women. And there's a reason behind that. Psychology argues that if you keep emotions within yourself and you are not able to communicate and express how you feel, the difficulties that you are challenging, you are keeping a ticking bomb within yourself. And by the time when it blasts, hell is going to break loose. So we need to encourage men.
Yeah, I think it's a very necessary discussion to have.
Absolutely.
But talk us through the production itself and where people can interface with it. You are saying it was a theatre, so we're to theatre?
Absolutely, yes.
And where you're going to next. And I just want to maybe get a sense from the reaction of your audiences in the three performances that you've had, because theatre is immediate. You know, you can get feedback instantaneous.
I must note that I was quite surprised myself, because we are using what we call protest theatre, a methodology which was used by Abo John Kane in Nothing But the Truth, Ombongeni Ngema, which is not quite popular, you know. So it's a theatre that seeks to address social ills of society. I identify a problem and then I write about it as a scriptwriter. I wrote about the issues of gender-based violence, gender politics, in line with Agenda 2030 of Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 4, quality education, so on and so forth. We performed during the week, you know, in 3 days in Soweto Theatre from the 8th until the 10th of November. We managed to get more than 600 people within that realm of 72 hours. And I myself, at the end of the 16 days of activism, I got an award from UN Women for what I have done, for my work as well. So there was an encouragement to say that the work should continue. That is why I elongated the script for theatre for publication. Hence we speak, the book of Poison, a deconstructive ontology for social constructs, is being reviewed, scheduled to be published by UJ Press, my alma mater. So Poison is doing very well. It is in demand. That is why we took a decisive decision as well to go to universities where our concepts and ideas will be tried and tested to influence students so that they write about this discourse of deconstruction. So the response as we speak, I was putting posters for Tuesday at University of Johannesburg last week. I got students who came on and assisted me, so on and so forth, and said that we want to come on Tuesday, this Tuesday, 6 p.m. We want to watch, we want to be part of this movement. We want to continue with you. And by the time when you march as well on the 25th of November to union buildings to demand free sanitary towels in line with the Constitution, clause number 10 of the Bill of Rights of Dignity, we will join you as well.
Absolutely. So this is Tuesday at UJ. And,
yes, Art Center, UJ Art Center, main
if
campus.
you're in around the main campus, you can make your way there. The play is called Poison, which aims to deconstruct societal norms, especially gender-based definitions. We are joined by playwright and activist Sandile Mdlongwa, creator of a thought-provoking play entitled Poison, which raises awareness and breaks down how we understand gender roles.